Hello, hello, hello. I am Coach PBJ, and I am so excited to be here on tonight. I have a very amazing woman who's going to be joining us, Miss Crystal Tromek. You guys can't just put your seatbelt on because you're going to enjoy hearing her story. So get ready, get ready, get ready. We are going to be talking about the Mindset Makeover and Crystal's program and what that means to her and what she's doing to impact the lives of others. So stay tuned. See you in a minute. Hello, 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 Miss Crystal. Welcome. Welcome.
Hello, Paula. Thank you
Hi,
for having me.
you are so welcome, Crystal. So, what is going on in the world of Crystal? Crystal, when I started my podcast, initially the name when we met, it was this game called Life and how to master the with Coach PBJ, how to master the game and win. And so, since then, I discovered that we were winning. So life is, and I'm like, why weren't we winning? So that I changed my platform to Mindset Makeover. So Crystal, tell my audience a little bit about what you do and what you're passionate about.
So, I am passionate about empowering women and veterans to their next level careers and lives. So, as we go through transition, as you spoke about this mindset thing, part of that mindset is also being able to show up confidently and understanding your value and what you're bringing to the table. So, it's very important to really just get deep in there and build up that confidence and command your space. And that's on paper and once you get in the room.
That's awesome, Crystal. So let me ask you this. So in your clients and the ones that you work with, what are some of the challenges that you find with their mindset?
So a lot of times I notice that we're undervaluing ourselves. And so that means showing like the experience that we said we bring to the table, we're downselling ourselves, looking for the opportunities. There are opportunities that we have more skill sets. So we may focus on just one title. We've done, let's say, I've been a cook for my whole entire career, but you don't think about all those additional skill sets that come along with being a cook. There are management skills that come along with it. There are communication skills that come along with it. There are customer service skills come along with it. You're solely focused on cooking the food and preparing that. So there's so many different aspects that many aren't looking at to be well-rounded. And how does that translate into other opportunities outside of the title of being a cook, if that's the example that we're using?
That is a good example that you gave me. I worked for the federal government for 32 years in HR. And you're absolutely right in that the title sometimes intimidate the applicants, and people often say that government jobs are the hardest job. And I always tell them, read the application, read the whole announcement, and look at the duty statement, look at the specialized experience, and then that should be a trigger to show you, hey, I do that, but it may be a different title. And of course, sometimes in the federal government, unfortunately, working in HR, I can tell you, sometimes the specialists don't look past the title. So I understand where that. So they got it. So with that, they got to know how to write the resume so that their title doesn't impact. Would not stop them from their resume from at least being looked at. So, Crystal, what would you tell a person who that cook, staying in that example, they're a cook, but in their cook, they manage the whole kitchen. How would you, and they're applying for maybe I just say a 343 or something, an analytical position, because with cook, you got to learn how to analyze it, right? So what would you suggest that they do to not falsify their resume, but at the same time, not hide their skill set?
Right. So then looking at the opportunities to make it into a management analyst position. So if there's something in that skill set that you have that you can focus on, that when you're translating it into that civilian language for the federal government, is there an opportunity to do that? So is there an opportunity to make you, let's say, a food service manager, a food service analyst? So you focus on the administrative side more than you are the food handling side, because there is absolutely an administrative function that goes along with everything. Just like oftentimes people will miss that there are so many opportunities in different organizations. They focus on just what the organization does at the front facing customer interaction, that they don't think about all the things that happen behind the skills. So everyone needs computer subject matter experts, everyone needs human resources, everyone needs just a host of different things, auditors and so many other things. But we typically focus on the one thing that we see at the front that's being advertised to us, as opposed to thinking we need all pieces to run well together.
Mm-hmm. And so, Chris, why did you decide? Because we had several conversations. So, why did you decide to help people? I guess I probably know this answer, but why did you decide to focus on getting people hired in the federal government or a higher paying job in the federal government?
So I would say that's twofold. One, when I transitioned from the Army, I remember how challenging it was. I transitioned at a time where we were going into a government hiring freeze. And so most people either want to go right into the federal position, or they want to go as far away as they can from the government once they leave the uniform. And so I was one of them, one of those ones that wanted to come into the government. And however, I had to do some other things in the meantime until that opportunity came about. And so that allowed me the chance to look at what was out there for me, and better build on top of those skills, as far as looking at the announcements, digging deeper into them, and actually, that saying success leaves clues. That, as you said, the announcement is telling you exactly what they're looking for. So how do you make those connections? And a lot of times, what I found is that it's a challenge to make those connections if you're not used to doing that, because we're looking at, this title is what I've done all this time, and this is what this is exactly what it is. But as you said, that's not always the case with the agencies, and they won't be able to sometimes they don't want to rewrite the position description. Let's be real. Like, sometimes they will have you come into a position and they don't want to rewrite the position description, so you'll show up and it's something different. So don't shoot yourself in the foot and not give yourself the opportunity to even be considered for the position if there's anything that you can make the connection. Like you said, don't falsify. If you can't make the connection, you can't make the connection, but there is something out there that you can make the connection for. So having those conversations to actually coach through the process. Let's talk about this full circle and how I read the announcement, how I'm interpreting the questions, and then start to expand that mindset and develop more confidence in being able to apply for more positions that way.
Chris, that is just really a true statement that you had because right before I retired from the federal job that I work for, that will remain nameless on today, um, we went to a whole standard position description, and so the challenge with it is that it was so standard that when you're trying to develop a performance plan for your employees, it's so vague. And so we went through one point where we allowed the managers to give us a statement of work to talk about what the real work was, but they ended up leading to really full-fledged, total rewritten PDs, and the agency did not want, like you said, they didn't want to write PDs. When I first came into the government, we wrote PDs all the time because we wanted to make sure that people were clear on what they did, and then that changed. And yeah, you're right. So they really should not. Someone said this. I don't like this statement, but I have to admit, she's really telling the truth. She said she viewed the position descriptions at our agency as a bureaucratic document that it meant nothing. And she was absolutely right because it did not really capture the experience that the individual would be doing. And so, and also, I don't know if you talk to your clients about this, but when they get in those interviews, they may want to ask, what is the real work? So that they won't get in there and find out, wait, I got to clean the carpet or what? Yeah. So, yeah. Awesome.
Right. So that's definitely asking, what does a typical day look like for this position? And how long has this position been vacant? So has the next person moved on for promotion? So you can find out if there are career advancement opportunities, or is the position just vacant or is new? So asking questions can definitely give you a better picture about the position itself. But I also want to increase the number of leaders that look like you and I as they move up the chain, because I noticed that there's not a heavy presence of those of us at the higher levels. And so you will notice them more at the lower grade levels. And sometimes people just don't know what they don't know. And so they'll sit there for years and don't realize there are opportunities for them to move out, whether it's within their current organization or look for opportunities somewhere else. So that's another reason why I definitely wanted to get into this.
Okay, awesome. Well, Crystal, you came to Atlanta last weekend. That was
Yes.
last weekend, and we got a chance to hang out a little when we were there, and um, I invited you to go with me to work out, right?
Yes.
Audience, I ain't know she was a beast. I ain't know. And that's when Crystal, I was telling her that when you and my trainer Pam was talking, you lit up like a Christmas tree. And I was able to tell that health and fitness is definitely your passion. So talk to us a little bit about your health and fitness journey and where do you think you're going to take that next?
So with health and fitness, I will tell you that, people will say things are separate. That's absolutely like the foundation of a lot of things for me. So I got introduced to health, to track and field. That was my first love. So my high school coach asked me to come out for track. I tried out for basketball. I made the team, but I had my high school coach ask me about coming out for the track team. Now he knew that I had some skills because he was my PE teacher in elementary school. So he had a little bit of an insider knowledge on it. So
Mhm.
my intention was to go out there, just train, stay in shape for basketball, and return to basketball. I went out there in varsity letter as a freshman in my first season. And then, of course, the rest is history, as they say. So track and field actually made me focus more in school because I really enjoyed competing and the piece that I had out there. I'm a competitive person. I think that competition can be healthy, but of course, collaboration on the business sense and in other arenas is also very good. But I went on to college and I was excited to be able to continue to run at that level. That kept me focused in school and it improved my grades even better than I had ever had in high school, middle school, or anything else. And once I completed college, I was bored. I was so used to working out that I was like, okay, now what? And so I joined the military and I knew the physical fitness.
Sorry about that. I thought up with it, so we're gonna have to do this over. Golly. Hold on.
You tried.
Stop. I did. But that was good. That was a good take one.
Yep. All right, let me take this thing because my mom tried to show it to me. I was like, look, I was, I was
So
like,
I'll probably have to send you another link.
okay. Oh,
Okay.
you did say that. Oh, mm,
Because I'm gonna end this one, and I don't know. Well, is there a way for me to start it over?
I feel like when I was on with some of the other people, they did stop and start it again. Um let's just try that and see what happens.
So when I hit end recording, it
Mhm.
automatically goes and save it on my phone.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So let me
So
see if
maybe
that's
what they did was just edit it.
okay. So Crystal, this past weekend you got an opportunity to hang out with me here in Atlanta, and we had a great time. And I took you to the gym with me, and you met my trainer. And I'm like, what in the world? Because I saw a side of you that I did not know exists. You are in such great shape. And I told you that that thing that we're passionate about, we do it we do it naturally. And a lot of times we're doing it and we don't even know that we're doing it. And so, like when you showed up in the class with the other women, you were just like, yeah, you stood your ground, right? And you represented and you lit up like a Christmas tree. And I discovered that is actually your passion, health and fitness. So tell us, Crystal, what will you be doing about that? How did you get to that health and fitness lifestyle?
Well, first I have to thank you for setting me up and putting me in the front of the room as your guest and your with your trainer. But no, it was a great workout and I really enjoyed being there with you ladies. So how I got started is that my elementary school PE teacher actually was a high school track coach. And so I was playing basketball. I had a friend of mine ask me to play basketball. That was my first season. I made it out there and he asked me to come out for track. My plan was to go out for track just to stay in shape for basketball and return to basketball. Well, I went out there and I varsity lettered my first season as a freshman. So, of course, as they say, the rest was history. So I did not return to basketball. Needless to say, my basketball coach was not happy about that because he was one of our physical education teachers at the high school level. But we were also getting per diem. So that was a great incentive as well. Track and field really kept me on track when it came to school and I started to improve my grades and get more focused in that manner. So I received a full track and field scholarship to go to college. And while I was there, I made the dean's list and I really enjoyed my time there. It was a great time for me to have like a piece that I can never think of any other time outside of that, but also being in shape and just like really pushing your limits, having the control of yourself and not having to worry about letting anyone else down. It was a personal thing that I had for myself when it came to that. So I graduated college and I was bored when I first got home. And so I decided that I would join the military. I didn't have an issue with the physical fitness side, so I knew that wouldn't be a problem. I went on and did all kind of crazy stuff in the Army, jumped out of airplanes. So I'm airborne qualified. Yes, I'm also combative qualified. So just a lot of different things to really tap into that physical fitness side. But I would always have people asking me questions constantly about the physical fitness and nutrition and things of that nature. I continue to compete at the master's level. So I am a USA Track and Field All American in multiple events for the 40 plus age group. So yeah, I really do enjoy it. And I like working out, you know, health. You got to have that strong foundation of your health. If your health is not intact, you're not going to be able to do anything else. And so we can say all these other things we want to do, but when your health is not intact, how do you show up to work if you're not in a good space? How do you show up to hang out with your grandkids or your children or your family and friends? And so I believe that health and fitness is at the center of every single thing that we do. So I don't see them as separate things. It is absolutely a part of me. And if I'm not doing what I need to do physically and watching what I put in my body, then I'm also not able to show up for you in the space of helping you with your career advancement. You know, stop leaving tax-free money on the table with your disability compensation or any of those things. It all started for me with health and wellness, and it is very much a part of my life. When I'm out running, I'm getting downloads. Things are coming to me as I'm running, as I'm working out, as I'm lifting. And so if I'm sitting still, I'm not hearing anything at the same levels that I would hear if I'm moving. So it's very important for you to keep moving. And so I welcome every opportunity to work with others and make sure they're getting in their best shape. Now, my family makes a joke and tells people not to let me take them in the basement, but I say, come down to the basement because you just don't know what your levels are. I would never push you to my limits, but you definitely can be pushed beyond what you believe that you can do. And you'd be so proud of yourself, especially when you look back to see where you come from.
Okay. So I'm so glad you talked about this because my journey. Okay. So growing up, Crystal, I was extremely small. I was tiny. And I had not knee, bow legs, and slew foot. Not a cute combinations, right? And being super skinny on top of that, right? And so when I was a child, I often got picked on. And they like Rudolph, I felt like Rudolph. They would laugh and call me names, right? Because of my legs. And so whenever I ran, they would say my legs look funny. So I convinced myself mindset that I don't do no workout. I don't do that. I didn't. I dress out for PDP, but I'm not running. I'm not doing anything physical. I don't do that. That's not what I do. If they had to have some relay races, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that because in the back of my mind, I kept hearing them laugh and pick at me. And so when I graduated from high school, my parents wasn't supportive of going to college. That's just one they think. They told me I need to take the route of Crystal and go to military and let the military send me to school. So I was like, okay, I'll do that. That makes sense. And so I went and met with the recruiter. And he told me about basic training. I said, I got to run? What? I got to sleep outside? I'm not doing that. Wasn't for me. So I ended up going to the regular route and got a job and put myself through college that way. And then in 2012, full circle, you said the body, you got to stay moving, right? And I think I'm somewhere in my 40s. And my body just I started gaining a lot of weight. I was tired all the time. I just was not in a good, healthy space. So I braved in myself and I hired a coach. My first coach, Joanna Ward was her name, and she was a beast. And I remember one day she says, y'all better hurry up. We were racing. Here come Paula. Y'all know she competitive. She gonna catch y'all. She gonna Paula, good form. And I'm like, wait, what? Right? Now, of course, that motivated me to go even faster. I don't even know what the form was, but whatever it was, I did more of it, right? And I did. I caught him and I won. And I broke down at the end of that race and I cried because all of those years in my mind, I wasted because I allowed the noise of other people to get inside my head and to tell me what they thought about me, and I owned what they said about me. And so, Crystal, in the work that we do and helping people, I said, sum it all up, it's live their best life. So I know that it's some more Paula Birch Jacksons out there, some Paula Jones, because that's who she was when she was laughed at out there. That's just like me. That's looking for people like you, Crystal, who can push us. Because I was on that back row, I was about to kill myself, but I was trying to keep up with you on last Friday. I was still trying to keep up with you because I was like, she wasn't gonna beat me there, right? And just watching. So I'm glad that I placed you on the front row so that I can watch it because that gave me a little bit more motivation to push myself even harder. So thank you for that.
Well,
Yeah.
you're welcome. I love to be able to motivate others. And so I do appreciate it. And I love to see people do more than what they ever thought they could. So the funny thing is, my mother was not for me joining the military. So she did not get up the day that I left for basic training.
Oh,
I
wow.
remember her still in the bed when I said bye because I didn't have any student loans. I had already graduated, but I knew I wanted to do advanced schooling as well. And so I'm like, I like this not having debt thing. So this is another way to do it.
Mhm.
I did also have some of those challenges. When I was born, they told my mother that she had a football player. So, my mom said I had broad shoulders.
Okay.
So mom said a girl football player. So so I guess I was always destined for some type of sports, but I would say that maybe I didn't have the most pristine form, if you want to call it that. But I made it do what it needed to do. And so that's the most important part, showing up and having fun and just being who you are and taking the feedback to tweak things as best as possible to improve where you are and who you are. It doesn't have to look like everyone else. And so I have had the fortunate opportunity to work with people at all levels and all backgrounds. And so I love seeing people excited about where they're coming from and where they're going. So yeah, it was a great visit and it was a great workout. I got a nice sweat on. So
You were representing for real, for real. The sorors. We're also
yes,
yes, yes.
absolutely. You were not alone.
So, Crystal, tell the audience where they can find you for those who's looking to get a good government job, and also to those who are working and want to get an increase on their job, as well as people who may even want to tap into your knowledge about health and fitness. How can they contact you?
I am on all social media platforms at Crystal She Speaks. So you can definitely reach out to me there. I have my calendar there where you can reach out and book your appointment for us to have a further conversation and talk about where you want to go and how we can make that happen. And I'm like I said, I'm across all platforms. And so you can find me on all of them. I'm looking forward to speaking with you all. Thank you.
Oh, well. Well, thank you again, Crystal, for joining me. And we're going to go ahead on and log out. So again, I am Coach PBJ. Thank you guys for joining us on tonight. I cannot wait to see all the other things that Crystal is going to be doing in her life. She has given us some good nuggets for those out there who's looking for a good government job and want to get that increase so that you can earn the salary that matches your skill set. So reach out to Crystal and she will definitely be able to help you get to that place of purpose that you are seeking to get to. I am Paula Birch Jackson, Coach PBJ with the Mindset Makeover. Make it a great day.